Coming up on Flowing into Awareness with Master Intuitive Anatara. Tune up your senses, they will serve you. What do you know as senses? Do you know or realize that you can work with them? Is it time for a tune up? This and more coming up next as we celebrate our new studio here on YHTV. This week's episode is brought to you by Support the Mountains Herbal Parasite Cleanse. This formula targets the small and large intestinal tracts and larvae, the most broad-spectrum formula available today. 100% organic, formulated by Dr. Mikio Sankey, author of the Esoteric Acupuncture series. For 10% off your first bottle, visit shopyogahub.com and use the coupon code CLEANSE at checkout. Hello and welcome to YHTV's Flowing into Awareness with visionary and master intuitive Anatara. I'm Christina Suzuma, your host for this program. And today's topic is Tune Up Your Senses, They Will Serve You. And with us here is the beautiful Anatara. Hello, Anatara. Okay, let's tune them up.
Yeah, let's tune them up. I was thinking about, tune up your senses. They will serve you. It's not they can serve you or they might serve you. They will serve you. So our senses, we revisit this every now and then. We feel things, we smell things, we taste things, we see things, we feel vibration, temperature, hot and cold. And then there are those senses that speak to us, intuitively. The senses that tell us, this is an interesting situation, but I'm not feeling really comfortable. Or I'm not so sure about something that's coming toward me from over there. There's an energy, a vibration. I'm feeling an understanding that maybe I need to be cautious in that direction. But over in that way, something there is making me feel like my heart wants to open. It's showing me that I am happy, that I am safe, that I am blossoming, as we've talked about before, that I am, in essence, present with the things that I'm not sure about, and present with the things that I feel more comfortable with. So our senses, we limit the idea of senses generally to those physical things, to those five senses and a few more. and we need to add to those that sense or those senses that work internally. Because as we get those senses to function and speak to us and give us direct reference to and response to the things around us, our picture of our reality, if we want to call it that, or our picture of our moment becomes so much fuller. There is so much more information in it. There is so much more possibility within it when we're hearing not just from the physical or form-based senses, but from the invisible and more formless-based senses. And when I say that they will serve us, I really mean that we can have such a much greater and fuller sense of everything if all of our senses work together, if all of our senses are active and sort of meshing and moving within themselves and each other all the time. When we limit our perspective to one sense, just such as what I see, or we limit it to what I hear, or even if we limit it to this is what my intuition is telling me, we are not actually getting the whole picture. So this is a plug for the integration of all senses, for all sensibilities to come together to give us moment-to-moment feelings, impressions, little pokes, little caresses, so that as we make choices and make decisions on a daily moment-to-moment basis, that we are informed from as full a perspective as possible. So when I say that tune up your senses and they will serve you, this is what I mean. You can be served and served well by all of the senses that you possess, all of the senses that you possess all of the time. So here's a little exercise. Take a moment in your day. Be it in a busy place or at home, outside, inside, it doesn't matter, even sitting in your car, and observe which senses you are relying on in that moment. If you're driving, hopefully you're relying on what your eyes are seeing. If you're sitting under a beautiful tree, perhaps you're letting more of the feeling of that moment be the most predominant sense. If you are meditating, maybe you are open to letting what your intuition would have you know, what your higher self would have you see and know through your intuition, to be your most predominant sense in that moment. So start to know yourself, know the way you use your senses. Observe the things that you draw on more than others. And then take it to the next step, which would be, well, when I'm sitting under the tree, can I listen? Can I listen as much as I feel temperature? Can I see as much as I know just by being by this tree? Is there something that is giving me a dialogue or an understanding from this tree? What is this tree saying to me? What does it want me to feel? What does it want me to have become available to me? Is this a wise tree? Is this a tree that can guide me in some way? Is this a tree that can help my heart feel more full? And when I look at that tree, what happens with the combination of sight, hearing, feeling, and intuitive information and dialogue from the tree? It's so easy just to rely on the senses that we're the most comfortable with. It's so easy to rely on the senses that happen first. I see first, I hear first. But what about that inner knowing? And when that comes through, what do we do with it? Do we give it to the other senses? Do we share it with our other senses? Do we have it help our other senses learn more, because they themselves are expanding with the expansion of the intuitive field and the intuitive knowing? Be aware. Check into what your senses are telling you, and especially which senses you rely on most. And then do a little game, play a little switch up, and see what happens if you look at some of your other senses. We can receive a full picture from one sense, if it is one physical sense, if it's combined with some of the more ethereal or energetic senses. And it's also okay to relate to things purely through the physical senses, as long as we're acknowledging to ourselves, in this moment, I've put those other senses away and I'm going with the physical ones. But make sure that at some point you open up to the whole compendium, the whole cooperation, the whole creativity of what happens when all of your senses are functioning together, are looking at things together, and are most importantly listening together. We don't listen only with our ears, we listen with all of our senses. Our senses are awake, they are aware, they are putting themselves out there, they are making themselves available to information. So find out what your patterns are and then play with them a little bit to see how that changes what you perceive and what you receive from your environment, both internal and external.
I love this. I love playing with senses. I love hugging trees. Oh, this is a wonderful moment, Anatara. Yes, yes. Senses. Wow. Wow.
every time I think of senses and intuition, I think of children. I think of how they're like big sponges. And from baby, you can see how they're acknowledging. It's like there's no boundaries for them because they haven't yet been taught how to put up boundaries. So you can see how they can see and feel and sense, and they're actually integrating all of it, which is so beautiful to watch. And even, up until maybe 2 or 3 years old, they're still tapping into things. They're still sharing with us when they pick up a rock or they pick something up and they show and they talk about the beauty behind it. Oh, that's all that kept coming to me as you were speaking, was these visions of these children just playing with all these senses that are innately ours.
And it's, yeah, you're so right, and it's so important to, in all ways that we can, support and keep them alive in those senses. Keep the sensory, bits of sensory information coming to them, coming through them. Asking them to tell us, to share it with us, to show us what it is, and to take that as an example and as insight as to how we can get back to that if we're not already in that.
I wonder. Oh, sorry. I wonder if it's as we, because I know that this started to happen to me at some point. Is I started to question it. Is that really what I'm feeling? Is that? It really, it's like big question marks all over. When it's like, why am I feeling that? Is that really why I'm feeling that? That I think as we get older, that's what starts to happen, is we start to question so much. Our mind gets in the way. Maybe that's the case. Any thoughts on that?
Oh, yes. Anyone who knows me runs the risk of always being encouraged to be in that complete sensual, sort of tactile existence, tactile in the way of the physical senses and the etheric senses that have no, concrete, that no specific concrete line to them. Yes, of course, we watch how children are told this is not all right. That's not real. How could you possibly have seen that or felt that or known that? And I'm not going to blame it on any particular system or any particular thing, except that as we get older and seem to try to fit ourselves into certain ways of performing, ways of being, ways of performing, we have to be like this. If we can't meet this standard, then we're not good enough and we're not okay. And so we change the emphasis on that beautiful sensory existence to one of a more mental existence. And it's just a terrible tragedy. When I spend time with my grandkids, even the ones that are in their teens, they know that I want to hear from them when they see a beautiful flower or when a cloud just looks incredible. And they know that they can come and talk to me about the other things that go on for them, behind the presentation that they're making. So there, it really is easy to keep all of those things flowing, to keep all of those things alive, but we need to remember to do it. And we need to remember not to deny that, in ourselves, first of all, and in each other. Okay. And not to be embarrassed by the truth of what the most beautiful, small, tiny thing that you saw today, is or was. And to believe in, yes, that tree can tell me something, and that bird that just flew by really, really was sharing itself with me in whatever way that is. Maybe it's just visual, and maybe there's something else to it. And the more we allow that opening to happen in children and maintain it in ourselves, the bigger the pool, the possibility pool of communication is. We talk about what's real.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yes. I love that. You're very, very fortunate grandchildren, whether they know it or not. But thank you for this lovely moment, Anatara. I love it when you tap into those senses and you talk about senses. It's one of my favorite topics. And of course, we would love to thank each and every one of you for joining us in this moment of flowing into awareness with beautiful Anatara. Oh my goodness, it's been a very exciting time as we keep recording in this new studio and we're playing with all the new things that we get to play with on the digital and technology side of things to bring you better and better shows. So thank you so much. And we look forward to hearing your feedback. Please comment in the comment box under the show or give us a call at 818 Let's Talk, 818 Let's Talk. We'd love to know what topics you'd like us to cover or what things that you might be questioning. And so, yes, please feel free to do that. If you'd like to get in touch with Anatara, please do so at Twitter, at Anatara, Facebook, Master Intuitive, and of course through her website, anatara.ca, anatara.ca. Again, we look forward to hearing from you and playing with you. We would love for you to reach out and give us a like on our YouTube channel or our iTunes channel as well, as we bring you more. And because the more likes that we get, the more that our shows will be displayed to other people around the world. So let's work as a village and make change together. Until next time, namaste.